All right, let's talk about what's happening in tech, because we are watching a full-on collision course unfold. You've got this unstoppable force, the AI software boom, and it's about to slam right into an immovable object, a global hardware crisis.
I mean, ever feel like you just blinked and the whole world changed? Well, in the last 24 hours of tech, you might actually be right. What's happening isn't just some minor update, it's a massive tectonic shift. We're seeing record-breaking money being thrown around on one side, and on the other, production is grinding to a halt like never before. So, let's try to make some sense of it all.
Okay, so first up, let's talk about the AI gold rush. This is the part of the story where software isn't just eating the world, it's eating its own wallet. And I mean, this is pure pedal-to-the-metal acceleration. The AI boom is in full swing, and the numbers, well, they're just staggering.
Get ready for this number, $185 billion. It's so big, it almost sounds fake, right? To give you some perspective, that's more than the entire economic output of a whole lot of countries.
And here's what that number is. That's what Alphabet, Google's parent company, is planning to spend by 2026 just on AI infrastructure, just the plumbing. It's more than the entire GDP of Morocco. I mean, they're not just spending money at this point. They're basically building an entirely new digital continent from scratch.
And it's not just about the money being spent. The tech itself is taking huge leaps. Take Anthropic's new powerhouse, Claude Opus 4.6. This thing is an absolute beast. It has a 1 million token context window. That means it can basically read a whole novel in one go and remember all of it. And get this, it has new agentic features, so it can handle complex jobs all on its own. We're talking about an AI that can build a C compiler from the ground up all by itself, while, most of us are still trying to plug in a USB cable the right way on the third try. Oh, and in a pretty clear shot at their competition, they're really leaning into this whole 100% ad-free philosophy.
And believe me, that rivalry is getting fierce. This whole AI arms race has now hit the Super Bowl. Yeah, you heard that right. We're seeing companies like Anthropic and OpenAI duking it out with Super Bowl ads. When your algorithm is getting its own primetime commercial slot, you know the stakes are just on a completely different level.
And it's not just the big guys either. There's a total startup funding frenzy going on. Investor confidence is just flooding the market. In just the last 24 hours, ElevenLabs, their voice AI company, raised $500 million. That shoots their valuation up to a crazy $11 billion. The gold rush is definitely, officially on.
But here's the thing about a gold rush. Eventually you hit a wall. And this high-speed, out-of-control software train is about to slam right into an unfinished track. Because the physical world, well, it just can't keep up. Just listen to this. For the first time in 3 decades, Nvidia has not released a new gaming GPU. 30 years. Let that sink in for a second. Gamers are just left waiting. And why? Because of a massive global shortage of high-performance memory chips. Yep, the exact same parts that are needed to power this whole AI revolution are also what we need for next-gen gaming, and there just aren't enough to go around.
So who's feeling this squeeze? Pretty much everyone. This is not a small hiccup, folks. This is a major choke point for the entire industry. Nvidia's new RTX 50 and 60 series, delayed. Valve's Steam Machine launch, pushed back. Sony seeing PS5 sales actually declined because they can't get their hands on enough memory. Qualcomm is even reporting a weaker outlook. The entire hardware foundation is starting to crack under all this pressure from the software boom.
And the result? Well, it's a ripple effect that hits all of us. We're looking at soaring costs, major product delays, and a mad scramble for alternatives. In fact, a lot of PC makers are now having to turn to Chinese memory chips just to fill the gap. And that, well, that just adds a whole new layer of geopolitical drama to an already shaky supply chain.
So, with all this chaos, we're seeing global shockwaves. And when you have this much disruption, it creates a really clear divide. There are the ones who are going to thrive, and there are the ones who are going to get left behind.
And you can see this new tech pecking order forming right here. The divide is pretty stark. You've got your winners, Alphabet, Google, Anthropic, all the AI startups, and the cloud providers who are basically renting out digital real estate as fast as they can. Then you've got your losers. Nvidia's gaming segment is taking a hit, hardware manufacturers are struggling, traditional software companies are getting squeezed, and Valve's hardware plans are on hold. And then there's everyone on the fence, stuck in the middle. That's us, the consumers, along with regulators who are frantically trying to write the rules for a game that's already halfway over.
So if you look at the overall mood of the market, it's totally split.
On one hand, you have all this positive sentiment for AI, for the cloud, for startups. The sky's the limit. But then, look at hardware and gaming. It's all negative. There's a real pessimism there, creating this really cautious, divided feeling across the board.
And this isn't just a company thing, it's a global power shift. The whole map is being redrawn. The US is still leading the charge on investment, but they're also facing a volatile market and a lot of heat from regulators. The EU is pushing hard for what they're calling AI sovereignty, with their own investments and rules. China is pushing AI adoption everywhere, but they're dealing with supply chain pressures. And you really have to watch India here. It's quickly rising as this huge strategic hub, pulling in billions in AI investment and becoming a major new player in this race.
And we can't forget about security in all of this. All this speed and innovation, it has a dark side. Major data breaches and cyber espionage campaigns are on the rise. They're exploiting our growing reliance on all this new tech. With every new breakthrough, a new vulnerability seems to pop up.
Okay, so after all that, the chaos, the big numbers, the global shifts, what does this all actually mean for you? Let's get into your tech survival guide. Here are the big takeaways. Number 1. For anyone in enterprise, you need to start looking at these agentic AI platforms like Claude and Frontier, like right now. 2. For investors, you want to keep a close eye on the big AI infrastructure spenders, think Google, and the key startups in the space. 3. For anyone wanting to buy hardware, especially gaming gear, you might want to prepare for some delays and probably higher prices. And finally, number 4. For literally everyone else, get ready. You're about to see a lot more AI in your life, but you're also going to see a lot more headlines about regulations and security.
So, that's really the big question, isn't it? The AI revolution is absolutely here, but are we going to run out of silicon before we run out of ideas? We've got these infinite digital ambitions smashing up against very finite physical resources. The software is writing checks that the hardware just can't cash right now. Something's got to give.
Visit newsbite.tech for more tech news and bites.